Hello friends, welcome to Padhai Se Dosti YouTube channel. In today's video session, we are going to discuss about the first chapter of 10 standard history, that is a historiography development in the West. So, do you know what is this word historiography? Do you know the meaning of historiography? Let me tell you. It is nothing but the study of history writing. Okay, how to write history. In simple word, it is a study or a branch of science which study the writing of history, how to write the history. Okay, so that is nothing but the historiography. Historiography developed s- slowly since a long period of time, and many Indian as well as Western philosophers, historians, they have their great contribution in the field of historiography. That all thing we are going to discuss over here. Okay, we have already studied ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history, then modern Indian history, post-independent history, then the world history. Okay, in different standards, different lower standards. Okay, so you might have question in your mind that how to do the check checking of truthness of any particular historical event which already happened in history. Suppose there was a Panipat battle in history. Okay, there are three Panipat battles. So there might be question in your mind that how one can able to analyze the severity of that particular battle, the casualties happened in that battle. Okay, or the different perspective, different geopolitical reasons behind that particular war. Okay, so we cannot able to repeat the war, and we can able to see the consequences of the war. We just have to rely on the documents or the inscriptions or different oral and written things which we found in the historical context. Okay, so to study all these things, to narrate proper history, to give proper conclusion about any particular historical event is nothing but the historiography. There is proper historical research method which adopted by different historians to narrate the history that we are going to see over here. So we are going to divide this chapter in four categories. First one is the introductory part about the historiography, then the tradition of historiography, then we are going to see the modern historiography, which we are going to use in our day-to-day life to solve the different gambles in history or the in the field of history. Then the development of scientific perspective in Europe and the historiography. So once in Europe there is a development of scientific perspective, there is a Renaissance period. So it really throws light on study of history, and therefore the study of history starts in Europe, that we are going to study over here. Then we will study about some notable scholars, historian, about their work. Okay, in this particular chapter. So let's start. History research, writing, and studies are carried out with an objective of understanding the chronology of the past events and their interconnections. Okay, this is a continuous process. So as I have already told you, that history is not stopped at any particular day. It goes on and on. Okay, whatever things we did in past few years, that also become history. Suppose today is our prime minister, is Pantapradan Narendra Modi. Before 5 year or 10 year, there was the another prime minister. Before that, there was another prime minister. So when we want to write the history of prime minister of India, then we have to include all the persons till date. Okay, so that is nothing but the history, and the persons will goes add on if we are writing the history after suppose 100 years, after 100 years in 2120, 2120 में अगर हम हिस्ट्री लिखते होंगे, तो ये जो बीच में 100 साल जाएंगे, उसके बीच जो भी सारी चीजें हैपन हुई है वो भी हमें लिखनी पड़ेगी. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज अ कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस, इट इज नॉट अ stagnant process. Okay, or the it is not any rigid process, it is a dynamic process, it goes continuously as time process. Okay, so the main objective of this study is what? The chronology of the past and their interconnection. So how two or more events they are interconnected to each other, which already happened in history. That is the core area to study the historiography. Okay. In physical and natural sciences, the empirical methods like laboratory methods of experiment and observation, okay, is used to verify the available knowledge. These methods allow formulating laws that remains true irrespective of time and space. Those laws can be tested and proved repeatedly. Okay, जो भी फिजिकल साइंस और नेचुरल साइंस होता है, जैसे कि केमिस्ट्री, फिजिक्स, एनवायरमेंटल साइंस, बायोलॉजी, ओके, देन बायोटेक्नोलॉजी, तो ये सारी जो भी चीजें वो नेचुरल साइंस के अंदर आती है. तो इसमें हम क्या करते हैं कि लेबोरेटरी में अलग अलग एक्सपेरिमेंट परफॉर्म करते हैं, कुछ कंक्लूजन निकालते हैं, कुछ ऑब्जर्वेशंस लेते हैं, और उसके बेसिस के हिसाब से कुछ ऐसे लॉज फॉर्मुलेट करते हैं which remains true irrespective of time and space. But in case of history, we cannot do this because we don't repeat the event which already happened in history. Okay, so can you able to repeat the war of Panipat? That suppose you want to study about war of Panipat, you want to take observation or you want to narrate something about that particular event, that is three wars of Panipat. So you don't go on the battlefield of Panipat. You will bring two armies in front of each other, and you will fought the war between them, and then you will wrote about the consequences of war. So it is not possible, and you will not going to do this. Okay, so that's the thing. So that event are already happened, and we cannot repeat that event in laboratory or in particular place. Okay, so that's the problem. That's why there is a difference between physical or natural science and the social science like history. Okay, so remember this thing, and that's why history is known as social science. It is a study about history. It is a study about the different psychology of history. It is study about different cultural, administrative, political, geographical, economic aspect of particular society. That's why it is a social science. In history research, it may not be possible to use a method of laboratory experiment and observation. This is so because we were not present in the historical time and space, and the historical event cannot be recreated. Also, in history, it is not possible to formulate laws that remain true irrespective of time and space. Okay, so I have already told you that we cannot recreate the historical event, but whatever evidences we got, we are narrating history based on that evidences. Suppose, take an example of Indus Valley civilization. Whatever we know till date about Indus Valley civilization is only based on the things which we found in excavation. But whatever script written on that excavated object, we cannot able to decipher that script. Once we decipher the script, there might be some other narrative which historians came to being. Okay, so at that time history will be changed. So that's why they tell here that to formulate the laws that remains true irrespective of time and space, they are not present in case of history. Okay, that's why we don't have any formulation of laws that will remain true irrespective of the time and space. So they might be changed, they might not be changed. Okay, so that is the condition. To begin, we need to we need an expert who know the language and the script of a historical document in order to read it and understand its meaning. Also, the expert can examine the authenticity of the document by using criteria such as the lettering style, author's writing style, okay, then the manufacturing date, type of paper, then stamps of authority, etc. Such a document is further scrutinized by historian with the help of relevant historical references. Okay, guys, so how we narrate the history, that is given over here, that we need the experts who knows the language which is engraved on that particular inscription or the walls of the caves or any coin or any inscription, any letter. Okay, so we have to decipher that script, and we can able to understand that particular document or the event that happened in the past. Okay, also we need to identify the authenticity of document by correlating that document with the document which found in the same period and on the same site. Okay, so by using that method we going to authenticate that particular document. Okay, and there are different methods like a lettering style. Suppose we have some letters which have the same lettering style, same stamp or the same symbol on that particular letter. Okay, then that is the lettering style. Then author style of writing. Suppose you are reading the a book of the same author. Suppose you are reading 3 to 4 different books of same author, you will find some common style of writing of that particular author, right? So that is again the part to authenticate the particular document. Then manufacturing date, when that letter was written or when that inscription was engraved. So all this thing is written on that particular letter, so we can able to understand the manufacturing date. Then type of paper, which type of paper or which type of rock they used to write something. Okay, so that we can able to study. Then stamp of authority, which authority wrote that letter, which authority sent this letter to which another authority. So all these things, by using the history of all these things, we can able to authenticate the that particular historical document. Such a document is further scrutinized by historian with the help of relevant historical references. Remember this thing. So in this way we have discussed this. There is a standard historical research method that we are going to discuss over here. So this method is used for writing historical narrative. Okay, the first part is the collecting historical information, highlighting the processes that leads to historical transition and carrying out the comparative analysis. Okay, तो कुछ ऐसे इवेंट होते हैं हिस्ट्री में जो कि एज अ ट्रांजिशन इवेंट एक्ट करते हैं. ओके, द ट्रीटी ऑफ पुरंदर in case of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj history, it is a transition period. Initially, the policy of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was a offensive policy, but during the Purandar Treaty, it is a defensive policy. We are just stopping the invasion. We are just trying to stop the property and human life losses because of that invasion. But before that, most of the time, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj they used offensive strategy. Okay, so that Treaty of Purandar is the defensive strategy or the transition movement if we study the history of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Likewise, there is a if we consider the today's era, we are facing COVID-19. Okay, we are facing lockdown, almost 3 month lockdown we face because of this COVID-19. So, in the future, if there is a history written by some medical person, the history of diseases, then he will classify the entire period as a pre-COVID-19 era and post-COVID-19 era. That might be happen. If we are studying the modern Indian history, then we are dividing it into the pre-independence history and post-independence history. Means the 1947 47 Independence Day, it is a very important transition event in the history. Okay, so in this way we are carrying out the study of history based on different historical information. Okay, then understanding the references regarding the time and space of the given historical event, and also various conceptual framework यूज इन हिस्टोरिकल मेथड. ओके, जो भी रेफरेंसेस हमारे पास है रिगार्डिंग द टाइम एंड स्पेस मतलब क्या, कि कोई जगह और पर्टिकुलर वक्त उसके बारे में जो भी रेफरेंसेस हमारे पास है उसको हम स्टडी करके कुछ हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट के बारे में जान सकते हैं on various conceptual framework. Means what, we have different angle, we have economic angle, we have educational angle, we have societal angle, or the cultural study angle, or the regional politics angle. So there are different conceptual framework like this, on the basis of which we can do the research. Okay, then formulating the relevant questions in various in the view of historical references. Okay, so we have to ask why this event happened, how this event happened, where this event happened, what is this event exactly, between whom that event occur. Okay, so all these relevant questions we have to formulate regarding the historical reference, and we have to study that particular event. Then formulating the hypothesis. To study the history, sometimes we have to assume something, and based on that assumption we have to narrate something. Okay, suppose there was this ideal situation, then only that particular king or that particular dynasty, they might have taken such a decision, they might have gone for the war. Okay, so likewise we can able to formulate the hypothesis. Okay, now the next one is critically examining the various sources of history. That is an important task. Whatever historical sources from excavation or from oral tradition we have to critically examine the sources, we have to correlate them, and then we have to narrate the history, examining the relevant references of the available historical information. So again the same thing, we have to properly examine that, we have to do proper research, and then only we can able to narrate the history. Otherwise the authenticity of such a history is less. Okay, if we have more and more references, we have solid proof that whatever we are narrating, then only that history have some weightage. Okay, so the methods of various disciplines are useful in historical research. For example, the archaeological science, then archaeology, manuscriptology, epigraphy, analysis of lettering style, then the linguistic, numismatics, and genealogy. So all these things are very important in case of historical research method. Means what, we need the knowledge of different discipline, the experts of different disciplines. Okay, to do a historical research. Like archaeology means what, study of excavated object. Then archival science. Okay, the museum science, how to organize the things in museum, how to conserve these things. Okay, that is archival science. Okay, then manuscriptology, whatever manuscript, whatever inscription we have, uh, to understand the that manuscript of a particular thing, it is a manuscriptology. Then epigraphy, it is a study of inscription. जो भी कुछ रॉक के ऊपर, के वॉल के ऊपर लिखा होगा, या और कोई पिलर है उसके ऊपर कुछ लिखा है, कोई डोर फ्रेम है उसके ऊपर कुछ एनग्रेविंग है, तो ये सारी चीजें, ये सारा काम, वो जो इंस्क्रिप्शन है उसको पढ़ने का काम जो ब्रांच करती है उसे एपिग्राफी बोला जाता है. देन एनालिसिस ऑफ लेटरिंग स्टाइल, आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस. देन लिंग्विस्टिक, study of different languages, different script, comes under linguistic. Then numismatics means study of coin. We know that there are different dynasties in past, they have their own coin, their stamps. So to study such a coins is the numismatic. And then genealogy, what is this genealogy? It is nothing but the स्टडी ऑफ lineage, वंशावळ जिसे बोला जाता है. ओके, सपोज वी वांट टू स्टडी द genealogy of Mewar dynasty. Okay, the Sisodia dynasty. Who is the founder of that dynasty? Who is the first ruler of dynasty? Who is the second ruler? Who is the third ruler? Ruler. Okay, how many son that particular king have? Then how many part of that particular kingdom is ruled by that generation? And all the things we are studying in the genealogy. That is a study of the lineage. Okay, the linear sequence of the kings of that particular dynasty, or the series of particular events during that particular time, that is a genealogy. Okay guys, so I hope you understood the historical research method, how to do historical research method, how to authenticate the history. Okay, so we will stop here on the basis of this introductory knowledge of historiography. In next video session we will discuss about the tradition of historiography. Okay, till that, if you have any question, do ask in comment box. Do study this particular introductory part thoroughly. Okay, try to understand each and every concept. Okay, if you really enjoy the session, then do like, share with your friend, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel so you will get the notification of upcoming video session on time. So thank you guys and have a nice day.